my last stop in Indianapolis at Work Truck Week 2025. I've been trying to get these guys for 3 days. I've chased everybody down. Does anybody know where Scott is? Scott, where are you? Oh my God, I got him.
Okay, Jay.
What's up, bro? Nice to see you, man.
See you.
Hey, listen. Hey, I'm so glad I finally got somebody from Stuller here because I think they got a product that y'all are going to want to see. So let's start by talking about the new, it's not the new, but it's a T-Max, right?
T-Max 111 aluminum body.
And you got the 111 aluminum body, and you guys are kind of cornered the market on the aluminum body, right?
That's correct, yes sir.
And I'm assuming that's because you build a quality product.
Yes sir.
So
yes, sir.
Let's start at the front in the driver's side first compartment.
Sure.
Let's work around and let's see what we got.
All right, sounds
so
good.
for starters, I noticed that we got a combined D1, D2 compartment.
Yes sir.
And I think I see new drawers.
Yes sir, we came out with these drawers last year.
Okay.
It used to be traditional T-handles for us, but we have gone to what we call a bell style handle.
Okay, so what's the thinking behind this? These are locked right now, or are they open?
No, they're open.
Okay.
The thinking is that when you come up to the drawer and you have a handful of tools or a handful of parts,
okay,
and you want to be able to open it, well, with the T-handles, you would have to drop your parts or your tools and open them.
Okay.
With these, you can have a handful of tools or
right,
parts.
and come up here.
You can use your pinky and open them up.
I
and
like
put your
that.
stuff in there.
What's the rating for each drawer?
They have 500-pound slides.
500-pound slides. So
Yep.
not necessarily can you carry 500 pounds, but they're going to work.
Right, but they will hold 500
They'll
pounds.
hold 500
That's
pounds.
correct.
Okay, and
That's
they're not going
correct.
to fall apart and collapse due to weight.
That is
now,
correct, sir.
another thing I've seen is that you guys have a universal mounting system. So you have infinitely adjustable shelves,
That's
right?
correct. And that is new to the T-Max body for this year. It is the infinitely adjustable railing system. It used to be traditional shelf clips.
Right.
This is brand new for our T1 body. So now we're able to mount our drawer packs there. We're able to mount our drawers, and you can move it any.
You know what I like? I'm going to tell you something I really like about this. You have that hex bolt.
Yes, sir.
And so that can be adjusted. That's a lot easier adjustment than some of your competitors in terms of an infinitely adjustable shelf.
Yes, sir.
And I noticed that you got your inverted, hard mounted.
Yes, sir.
You've got a rub strip. You've got LED lights.
Yes, sir.
And you've got your aluminum construction. We're going to talk more about the aluminum in a minute.
You bet.
But you're using a spring type mechanism.
That's correct.
And you know what? I don't know. One of your competitors let me hang on the door. What do you think? You think
Go right ahead.
okay, it passes the KJ weight test.
That's right.
You can hang on it, it won't fall off. That's pretty good. Okay.
The other part about the doors that are different than some of the other ones is that we do double panel every door.
Okay.
And we put a hat section in every door as well.
Okay, explain that for the guys from Loma Linda. What's a hat section?
So a hat section, basically, if you take a piece of steel and you bend it, or aluminum in this case, and you bend it, it looks like a top hat.
Okay.
So that's a hat section that goes into the doors.
Oh, so it's almost like egg crating or something like that.
That's
extra
correct.
support.
Extra support. So these doors are tough, won't bend, won't flex when they get caught in the wind when you're out in the field. They're not going to flex and hit other things.
You know, the perception that I've always had is that aluminum is not as sturdy. It doesn't, but you know what? I get the feeling that this might do the job.
It's going to hold up. A lot of the reason we do that also is because the way we build these doors is we bend it all together. We don't take a lot of individual sections and weld them together. We bend all the pieces together.
Okay. All right. I can see that. And I noticed that the hinges that you use, you're using, how are you handling, oops, sorry. How do you handle the dissimilar metal? What is that called when you have the electrolysis?
It's called dissimilar metal rust.
Okay.
But actually this is aluminum, and what we do here is we use a rubber gasket in between there.
Okay.
So, but we also do a process, we'll talk a little bit more about it with our bodies, with a steel frame and an aluminum side pack. We do an electrolysis process. We call it ecking, and it's basically a coating that you put on there.
Okay, I like that. Now, while we're on this side,
Yes,
I've
sir.
noticed that you've got a new compressor, and then you got your standard. So what did you do? Anything different on your compressor?
Well, so that's different though. This is not actually a compressor. This is a hybrid power system.
Oh my God, what is that?
So what this means is that you can power your crane and your compressor with batteries without having to fire your truck up at all.
Say what?
That's right. So people that are needing idle mitigation, or just cities and counties and states that have a lot of green initiatives, this is something that they can run this truck, still operate it as a mechanic's truck, but you can kill the chassis, not have to run it.
So let me make sure I understand. So this can run the compressor, the crane.
Yep.
Does it have a generator in it?
It does not.
Okay, so it
does
doesn't
not.
have a generator.
It charges from the chassis itself, or it does have shore power.
Okay.
To where you can plug it in at the end of the night, at the end of your shift, and charge it all the way up.
Is it part of that Van Air gig, or is it somebody else?
This is 100% our product.
No shit.
That's correct.
I can't say that with my channel. I can say whatever I want. That caught me by surprise.
100%
So
our product.
is it running batteries?
It is batteries, yes sir.
Wow.
Lithium-ion batteries.
Okay, so let me ask the proper question. The
You
proper
bet.
question is, how long can I run this continuously before I have failure?
So, well, no failure. You just have to start your truck.
Okay.
Because then it will charge the battery. But you have continuous runtime of almost an hour with the compressor.
And that means I can run my crane, run the compressor, and not have to start my truck
continuously for an hour. Which no one in this world, nobody really does that.
Okay, let me tell you something, Scott. Let me tell you something. Now I know why I waited all week to get to this booth, because every time I go to a booth and I see somebody's product, I go, oh wow, this is the greatest, latest, awesomest thing I've ever seen. And then I come and see another vendor and I see another fantastic innovation.
Yes, sir.
Man, I got to give you props, boy. That's some
you.
serious good stuff. Okay, what else we got over here?
Well, basically, you just go back through drawer packs that we make ourselves also. These are Stuller drawer packs that we make.
Okay.
And then you come to the next compartment.
Okay.
And you've got the Stuller bolt bins that we also make.
Okay, I like it.
Everything on this truck we either manufacture or assemble in-house.
Is this a 50-inch tall side pack?
52.
52 inch, so you got 2 inches over the competition, and we got a combined D1, D2 compartment, and then we got a big work deck bumper.
Yes, sir.
And I've also noticed something else. For us vertically challenged individuals, it feels like this is slightly lower.
It just helps with the aluminum step.
Wow, I like this. I feel like I can get in there and I can meet the 3-point test for OSHA and all the safety people.
Exactly.
So I like this.
Yes, sir.
I noticed that you put E-Track in here. That's obviously an option.
That's correct.
You're using the polyurea on the inside and on the bumper steps. You got the step. You got your LED work lights. You've got your master lock.
On both sides, yes, sir.
I like it. And let me ask you a question. Let's talk about your crane control now.
Okay.
Stuller is always one of the pioneers when it came to the cranes, right?
Yes,
you
sir.
guys, everybody uses your cranes. You've been around for a long, long time. And
35 years this year.
It's 35?
Yes, sir.
That's why you guys are running around
right.
with that 35.
That's right, man.
Happy
So we got
birthday.
35. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me check something out. Let's talk about the Stuller. I've noticed that the creep of the capacity, the lift capacity, keeps creeping.
Sure.
Okay, we're now at 8,600 pounds. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about the Stuller approach to cranes. What are you doing that's making you different from everybody else?
So the biggest thing that we've done over the last 3 years is, number one, we introduced a new control system for our cranes with our partner, and then we also changed the shape of our cranes and the steel that we use.
Okay.
So we went away from the traditional hexagonal shaped boom and we went to an octagon boom.
Okay.
So we added some bends to add strength, but we also changed the steel and we're able to actually increase our capacities while making the crane actually lighter. So when we came out 3 years ago with these cranes, we were able to shave around 200 pounds out of each crane.
So translate it for me so I can remember this and tell somebody else about it later. You went from the hex or the six-sided, and you went to an 8-sided.
Correct.
Created more strength.
Correct.
More rigidity.
Correct.
And then you were able to reduce the thickness of the steel.
That's correct.
To reduce weight.
That's correct.
And still maintain the exact same functionality that you had before.
Yes, sir.
I like that. Now, when you came with your new controls, let's just talk specifically to the audience. What do those controls entail? So let's talk about LMI. That's for those all in Lake Hills, Texas, my hometown. We're talking about load moment indicator.
Sure.
Do you guys incorporate that into your design?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
It'll tell you boom angle. It'll tell you how much you have on the crane. It'll tell how you have left. A lot of the other indicators that you have, how far you have it extended.
Yeah.
You have, you can control your, I'm not sure if you can on this one, but you can control your compressor. On a traditional PTO and pump, you can control your compressor, you can control your boom tip lights. You can control start-stop functions as well from the remote.
Okay.
The biggest key to this remote, though, which is the kind of the patented technology for Stuller, we're the only ones that have this technology, is called rangefinder technology.
Okay.
So rangefinder is a procedure. Basically, you press and hold this button here, you go into rangefinder mode.
Okay.
And what this will do is it will tell you how far you away from the center line of the crane and how much you can lift in the position that you're standing in.
So you don't actually have to swing the boom.
That's
right. You can actually go to the item that you're about to pick.
100%.
You can stand and you can say, okay, I know this thing weighs 3,000 pounds
100%.
and I can just have this over.
And that is worst case scenario too. So you're standing here by this gentleman.
Okay.
And it tells me that I am at 15 feet or 16 feet. I can lift 3,318 pounds, and that's at worst angle position.
Right.
So you can be in a negative position and still lift 3,500 pounds.
Okay, that's friggin' awesome. And is that an exclusive? Are you guys the only ones that are offering that?
Exclusive to Stuller Industries.
Okay,
yes, sir.
I have another question for you. When it comes to safety controls, sometimes it affects your ability to do a pick.
Sure.
Are you restricting use based upon the information that you're getting from
Well, we restrict use by basically with the load sensing in the boom itself, in the crane itself.
That'll shut the crane down.
That will shut the crane down, but what our remote still does, well, it gives you warnings.
Okay.
So when you start to get close to an overload situation, it vibrates.
Okay.
It will vibrate faster and then vibrate even faster before you get into an overload situation. But if you do, you have boost mode with our crane as well.
Which I'm going to ask you about, because
Yeah.
I've been wanting to ask this question for a long time.
Yep.
And I think there's some misconceptions about boost mode, and I
Sure.
want to clarify it once
You
and
bet.
for all. But when we get to the outrigger, what about restriction on use of crane if the outriggers aren't deployed? Are there any restrictions?
Yeah, at Stuller Industries, you have to have your outriggers in a full position to be able
Okay.
to use the crane.
Okay,
Yep.
well that's good to know.
Yep.
So let's talk about this boost mode. When I look at a Stuller crane, I've always seen two sets of numbers. I see a blue set and a red set.
Right.
Explain that to me, because I don't get it.
Well, so basically your blue set is basically your standard pick, going to be non-boost mode. When you're in boost mode, basically what that is for an operator. Basically you press the boost button, gives you a certain amount of time with a certain percentage over regular capacity to be able to get you into a safe position with that load. So it's not made to just continually press boost and move it around and move it around and move it around. What it is, it's for the operator. Temporary. That's why it's roughly 30 seconds. So you can get that load into a safe position and then continue with your load, or set it down, reposition, whatever you need to do at that point.
So here's the deal. The reason you guys are watching me and watching our channel is because we're getting you the inside scoop on the information that you need in order to make informed decisions. I've been doing this for a long time, and I didn't know that before properly. And I'm glad that Scott took a few seconds to explain that to me.
You bet.
Now, in terms of overall, you're still using your A2B block, you're using the sled moment.
Correct.
Your winch is in a fixed position, so we don't have to let line out.
Correct.
The warranty, what's the warranty on a Stuller body?
On a standard Stuller warranty is 1 year. However, if you do register that, we will give you an extra 2 years.
Okay, so
it can-
unregistered, it's a year.
Yep.
If you take the time to fill out the little online deal,
Right.
it'll give you 3 years.
Yeah, it can potentially
and that's
be
on the
3 years.
aluminum body.
That's on everything that Stuller manufactures.
Anything that Stuller manufactures.
Correct.
Okay, I like that.
Yep.
Now, is there anything else that is unique about the Stuller crane, especially the T-Max body, that a potential buyer might want to know about?
Well, the T-Max body for sure is that, number one, we use an isolated crane compartment. There
Okay.
are a few other manufacturers to do that, but we do have an isolated crane
So
compartment.
let's show that. So
You bet.
come on in here and look at this. So what they mean by an isolated crane compartment is that crane compartment is actually not attached to the rest of the body. It's attached to the subframe. It's obviously part of the substructure, but the heavy loads that are often placed on the crane due to the pick is isolated from the rest of the body, and that reduces the amount of torque and twist that the rest of the body is going
That's
to undertake.
100%
And I
correct.
like that.
Yep.
Now,
100% correct.
when you guys put this in the field, was there resistance when you first went into the field with an aluminum body, or were there people like, oh my God, I can't wait to have it?
There was a little bit of resistance because people think that aluminum, just like you thought, you think aluminum, you think light, you think weaker, correct?
Right.
So our VP of sales has a very good analogy for that. You think about airplanes.
Okay.
So airplanes, when they can be light, they're light. Where they need to be strong, they're strong. So
Right.
wings, fuselage, they're aluminum.
Right.
Landing gear, they're steel. So
Understand.
where it's going to take the abuse, you have a steel crane compartment, you have a steel frame, you have a steel bumper and steel outriggers.
Gotcha.
All the force goes through there. So where all the torque happens, where all the strength needs to be is there. Where it can be light, it's aluminum.
So in terms of actual increased payload, what can a buyer of a T-Max body anticipate getting an increased payload if he chooses a T-Max body?
On a T-Max one with an 8630, you can get anywhere from 800 to 1,000 pounds additional payload.
That's significant.
It's very significant.
Because a lot of these guys are taking the chance and running overloaded, and that puts their company at risk. It puts their personal safety at
Correct.
risk. It's
Correct.
not a good idea. I highly don't recommend it.
That's
All
right.
right, listen, bro, I got to tell you what.
Yeah.
I want to do something else if we have time. I'm going to cut this right now because I understand you guys acquired a company this past year.
Yep.
And is Elliott.
That's right.
And Elliott's been
Yep.
around for a long time.
That's correct.
So what we're going to do is, just so you guys don't have to watch the whole thing right now, I'm going to stop it now, and then we're going to do another one, and we're going to talk about the Elliott acquisition and what you can expect from Stuller with their acquisitions. That sound good? Y'all peace out. Watch part 2. It's coming up.